Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. So today I'll be discussing episode number 6 for American Horror Story Apocalypse. Well, this episode actually, I had to see this episode for 2 times because it's full of things, full of events, full of scenes, characters from the past that I really needed to pay attention to every word they're saying. So the title of this episode is Return to Murder House, of course. We see Madison and Charles go back to the house to investigate Michael. They pretend to be a couple and they buy the house to talk to the spirits. I actually like Madison outfit in this episode, and I think it was really nice to see how Madison has evolved and changed to become a better person. Because according to her, this is her third chance at life, and she will not waste it as she did before. So it's kind of nice to see how Madison, from her, let's say, annoying character, we get to see her in this episode transforming to something, to a better person. I also like the way they were entering the house. They look like an assassin. They're in mission. They have a mission, like Mission Impossible. They want to do it, and yeah, it was very cool. And I like how they have the shots of the house, how the camera revolve around the house, close up shots. It was very nice actually, and I got to say that Sarah Paulson, being director for this episode, was really amazing. I mean, first of all, this episode is it's 56 minutes, which is very good because last one we had the last couple of episodes we had around 40. I don't think it's enough since we only have 8 episodes, and currently we only have 2 episodes to go. Wow, can you guys believe that? So once they enter the house, Chubbs starts sensing that the spirit's energy, that this house is full of ghosts and stuff like that, and it's very nice to see that even this is a witch and this is a warlock, they're still are afraid of this house, from the spooky ghosts. Remind us about Tate's crime that burned his stepdad, killed his classmate, made Vivian pregnant, whatever, and this was on purpose actually. So basically, I want to say that Tate, like, he's kind of like he was made, like he was forced to do this stuff, and this is not him in reality. And yeah, and then we get to see that. Then we see Madison and Shabbles try to talk to Tate, and they both refuse to talk to them. And then we get to see him. There was some nice mentioning about Amityville horror, and this is another reference that Tate was forced. I mean, to do this stuff. As back in, if you guys know Amityville horror, that the dad was possessed by ghosts that made him do these bad things. So is Tate apparently, and we see Billie Dean Howard, the medium, which is starring Sarah Paulson, and she comes and she introduced herself. Then guess who? Constance Langdon comes from the stairs, same hairdo, same dress, the cigarettes, same everything. She's just like, we went back in time 7 years ago, the murder house, and she comes say this is her house. Whoa, that was a very nice scene, just to remind us that this is her house. She is the owner of this house because she is a ghost. We see Moira. Moira and Constance, of course, they don't have a good relation, and Constance, basically tells Madison and Chablis if they want to know informations about Michael, they need to get rid of Moira. And they did, actually. It was nice to see that Moira finally had her peace. They took her bones from the house and they buried her next to her mother. And it's very nice to see that she made peace with her mother because she is the one who killed her mother, but her mother forgave her. And it was a nice ending for that character. And I think that, the reason for this episode is just also to end the cliffhanger for the Murder House, because when Murder House ended, a lot of the characters, we don't know the final fate or what really happened to these characters, where they just keep roaming around in the house, what will happen. So it was nice to see that the first character finally find its peace, Moira. Goodbye, Moira. And then we go back to Constance. Constance started talking about Michael. First thing, I'm not sure that we see that Madison and Chapel did not really know that Constance was the grandma of Michael. They were aware that she raised him, but didn't know that the connection, that Tate was the... So she talks about Michael. That first, here is the thing. I really don't... if you guys remember in Murder House, we get to see Billy Dean Howard talks about a child who's conceived from spirit and a human is Antichrist. But here we say that Constance at first thought that her grandson was just kind of like a serial killer, that he has his hobbies, he started killing animals. So he knew he has like, his tendencies to be a serial killer, whatever. But here what she said, that although he was killing all of these animals, and he killed his nanny though, even though he killed his nanny when he was just a young boy, that did not raise eyebrows for her. They did not raise any alarm with her. She just thought he was just bad, evil, like serial killer. He wants to kill. But she really never thought beyond this. And here she describes the moment that she realized that she is not dealing with something human entirely, that she was dealing with something supernatural. When Michael grew up 10 years in just one day. Like, he was a child, now he's a young man. So, wow, yeah. So, she apparently figured that this is not normal, this is supernatural. But I don't know, why didn't she know from the start? Because Billy Howard told her about this. I don't know, there's a missing link. And here, actually, I think, they made, Michael grow up 10 years in one day just to explain the time gap, because from the Murder House till 2021, Michael will be just, I don't know, a teenager or just a child, not even a teenager. He's like 11, 12 years. So they said that he grew up in just one day, a decade. Of course, Constance here tells him that she realized that she's raising a monster, that he was not okay. And of course, she brought a priest. He killed the priest for sure. And she said that he's gonna kill her sooner or later. She's next. So she decided that she lived her own life, as she said, and she's gonna take her own life. She killed herself back in the house, the murder house, to be with her children. It was very nice thing that she's actually kind of have her ending also, because she is now reunited with her children. And she doesn't want to see Michael again. That's it. She doesn't want to see her grandson. And basically that's it. This is the mother, and she lived as a mother and she died as a mother, and now in the afterlife she is being the mother. After that we see Bill comes, and actually no, after that we see Madison and Chubbs go back to Bill to ask him about Michael, and finally, well, he starts speaking, of course. He said that after Constance dies, Michael comes to the house, cries that his grandmother is gone, and he felt sorry for him, and he wanted to be like a father figure for him. So it was really nice to see that the interaction between Ben and Michael, and as father and son, it was nice thing, the relationship here. And of course it didn't go for a long time. Michael kills the new owners of the house, and guess what? He burned their souls. How did he learn to do that? Seriously, because I think this is the first time like he used this kind of power. Okay, we go back. There is something I forgot to talk about. So yeah, when Michael started to wander around the house, he started to, connect with other spirit birds and people in the house, ghosts in the house, and apparently he figured out that Tate is his father, and we see him with the black leather suit, and we see the first interaction between Tate and Michael. It was not good. Tate was very angry at Michael, and he told him that basically he could not be his spawn, he could not be his child, and he is not his son. And apparently Tate actually hates Michael. Yeah, he does. And still Michael is looking for a kind of father figure for this. But of course he will know his father late in this episode. After Michael kills the owner, Ben just walk away and tells him it was a really big mistake for him to intervene. Um, after Ben was, after that, we see that Vivian comes to Ben, and it was really nice to see that apparently Vivian stayed away from Ben because he was talking to Michael, but now she knew that he wanted to have his son. We see Vivian comes, and in dramatic way we have like a lot of revelations. We already know that, but for the characters, for Madison and Shabbles to know that she comes to tell them Michael is Antichrist. Basically, we see 3 Satanists, and here's the thing. We see Miss Mead. This is the first interaction between Miss Mead and Michael. Now we know from where Miss Mead found Michael. She was one of the Satanists who comes, abduct a girl, slaughter her, kills her, pull out her heart, and give it to Michael to eat it. That was just like, Satanism and cannibalism goes along, So Vivian tells that, and Michael talked to his father. We see the demon figure rising behind Michael, and at first Vivian explains that she was not really into this, but after she saw this, she realized that Michael is the Antichrist. She of course tries to kill him, but Michael is so powerful, he tried to kill her, burn her again, burn him like he did to the house owners, but Tate comes and saves her. That's a good point for Tate, They're trying to redeem Tate, like that was not him. He was used by the evil in this house as a tool, and after he was used and after Michael's gone, he's really like the evil does not want him anymore, so he's a different person. We see that Madison comes, this is the final scene. The final scene comes and explains like how Madison actually has evolved. She helps Violet to go back to Tate and explains that Tate is not that bad. And in the last scene we see that Violet and Tate are back together, and she forgives him basically because he was that it wasn't really him. I mean, the house used him, so that he saved her mother, so she forgave him and whatever. So at the last scene we see, so we actually by the end of this episode we see that actually this episode is kind of an end to the murder house, because we didn't know what happened after Michael was born. We didn't really know what happened to the ghost inside, and how actually Michael interacted with the ghost, and what happened to Constance. So this episode serves as the finale for the murder house. This is like murder house finale. What really happened? But it doesn't really add to Apocalypse much more because we already know the main points, like what happened. But just this episode's kind of like the end of Murder House. Just to close that chapter once and for all. We all now know what happened to the character inside, the ghosts inside the house. Moira found peace. Also Constant, Tate and Violet together, Vivian and Ben are together. So everything is fine. Well, except Michael is born and he's the Antichrist, of course. So that's it for this episode. Now let's discuss some thoughts and predictions about the season. So this was the episode number 6. So I only have 2 episodes left, and I don't know how they're gonna pull this off. I mean, we are still in the past. I think they're gonna have we're gonna have 4 episodes in the past, 4 episodes in the current timeline, which is I really don't like. I mean, from the trailer, the preview trailer for episode number 7, we see we are still in the past, and we see maybe actually we go back to the timeline either at the end of episode 7, the next episode, or we will wait till episode 8. And still, there are a lot of things they did not explore. First of all, Mallory, we don't know anything about Mallory. We don't know, like, this character. We know that she's a powerful witch, but we want to see some, Yeah, also, in the first 3 episodes, it was the theme of the series was different than 4, 5, and 6, now how it's going. Because in the first couple of episodes, we know that, okay, Apocalypse, Michael was not good. But now it's all concentrating on Michael. Like, Michael is the Antichrist, and he is the warlock. And I don't know, it's like there was kind of shift in the theme of this series. It was going in a direction, and then they just like turned it to another. I don't know, but I don't like that this season is very short, like 8 episodes. They should just give it 10 episodes. We need at least more 4 episodes. It's because I don't know how they're gonna defeat Michael. They're gonna be a cliffhanger, because and we don't know about what about the sanctuary. How did the apocalypse happen? How did the world was destroyed? So there are a lot of questions they did not still answer, and we are basically in the end game, as they say, and we still have not answered any questions. How did apocalypse happen? How did the end of the world happen, basically? And what about the sanctuary? And what about these posts? And what about the zombies, the creatures, the Walking Dead? We did not explore anything of that. Just concentrating on the Michael character, and they started from the end and going back in time, and they will go back to the end. I don't know. I don't like. No, I actually like it, but I thought it's gonna be something else. So we'll see about that.